What's going on, my good peoples? Welcome back to the channel, y'all. I'm your host, Roberto. For those of you who don't know, if it's your first time here, thank you for checking me out. I always try to put a positive spin on everything I do. I'm not really into the trash talking, gossiping, and all that kind of stuff. I'm into news, though. I'm into news. I like news. I want to know what's going on in the world, even if I'm not a part of it. I still want to know what's going on because I have a beautiful wife to protect, always. With that being said, I want to talk about Camron and Mace. But before I jump into Camron and Mace, I got to revisit how I even got to talking about Camron and Mace today and just their little story and their beef, right? So the judge denied Diddy bail for the second time. For the second time. I was actually surprised. I was actually a little surprised because, we've been listening to his music for years and we don't consider him a threat to society. But the judge said that he is a threat to society. And they're treating him like he's a mafia boss. Even though his lawyer said that he'll sell his plane, he'll surrender his passport, he'll hire guards to watch him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He just wants to get out of jail. This is the first time in my man's life. I'm going to say maybe not in his lifetime, but in a lot of years, somebody of his stature is behind bars. Him and R. Kelly, y'all are crazy with the memes. I saw this meme earlier. This one right here. I saw this meme earlier. I'm like, y'all are crazy with freaking Puffy and R. Kelly about to make some great hits. Y'all are funny. Anyway, it's a very sad situation. The S traffic is very serious in America. And, it's crazy because our egos at times can take control of our life. And so I'm very mindful of this. That's what this whole conversation is going to be about today. Growing up as a man. But anyway, so because I was watching that, I actually heard Camron and Mace's response to all of Diddy's allegations. They actually responded when Diddy's home got raided back in the day. And so it was really interesting to listen to them. But before I played a clip of them responding to it, I had to take a step back, y'all. Because if y'all remember, first of all, let me say this. I love when grown men become grown men. I'm not saying they're not silly and they don't do crazy things, but I love to see that they squash their beef. Because for those of you who don't know, if you've been under a rock anywhere, Camron and Mace were enemies for a good minute. And so I began to dig up some of their old things that they were going back and forth. And Camron took the blame for everything. Check this out.
A label started gassing me like, yo, why your man ain't doing the video? He want $50,000 to do the video. So I started feeding into that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, word, this nigga out get funny charging me for the video, this, that, and the third. So we kind of fell out over that, got cool again. Then, he went to church. I kind of didn't understand it at the time because that's like my man all day. And I'm like, where'd church come from? So I started bugging out on him because of that. To be honest with you, the whole shit was my fault. And just not understanding the kind of path he was on at the time.
Camron took the blame for everything. They were going back and forth. I think Camron was taunting Mace for a minute before Mace came out with his album, The Oracle. Before he came out with the Oracle and clapped back at Cam. And so they were going back and forth for a good while. And then so by the time I saw them launching their own podcast together, talking about sports, I'm like, when did they squash the beef? And so then I remember hearing through the grapevine this interview with Mace right here.
Yeah. So I didn't get to break them off. I didn't get to say, yo, this is what I want to give you. I really appreciate you. Because, that's one of the relationships I regret. That's probably, I think I got two that I regret. And going at Killer, I wanted to do that, but that was like my nigga, you know what I'm saying? So that really hurt me.
So there's a scripture, not that to get spiritual with you guys, but I had thought about this when I was thinking about Cam and Mace. I think it's 1 Corinthians 13:11. It says, when I was a child, I spoke as a child. I reasoned as a child. I thought like a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. That is the message, my brothers and sisters. He said, when I was a kid, I spoke like a kid, I thought like a kid, I reasoned like, I behaved like a kid. The challenge is when we see grown men still acting like kids. And so when I saw Camron and Mase a couple of years ago now launch their podcast, it was just good to see that they were able to put away childish things, because it was just that. It was just childish things. It was, as Cam said, people in his ear, people in Mace's ear. And as y'all know, for those of us who have had money, you begin to build your entourages, and it gets bigger and bigger. And then people saying he said this and she said that, and then and you never actually talk to the person that you were a friend with. And so it's really good to see that Camron and Mase put their differences aside. So I thought to myself, my brothers and sisters, what am I doing everything in my life to put away childish things? Oh, beefs. You know, my wife and I, we have a lot of conversations, as always. For those of you who have not seen my wife and I's podcast, The Further Mucking Ballads, y'all go ahead and check that out. It's on the channel. I'll try to drop a link in the description. But anyway, so I'm all about being mature. I'm 53 years old. I don't believe in a grown man acting like a kid. I don't believe in a grown man doing kid things. I don't believe in it. And again, listen, it can happen. I'm not the kind of individual who's 50-something years old and you want to be out there in a club with a bunch of 20-year-olds. No, I wanted my life to be designed in such a way that when I got to this age, I was spending my life with one individual. I'm just saying, y'all. So that was a side note. But I love to see that black men put their beefs aside, get to the root of the problem, take responsibility, and begin to mend their friendship or begin to mend their relationships. I think a lot of times in life, even when we're wrong as men, our egos get in our way and we don't want to apologize and we don't want to do certain things, or we don't want to humble ourselves to shake the other person's hand. We don't want the world or people to think that we're below where in our minds we really are. And at the end of the day, we all bleed. We're all human beings. And so, yeah, it does come a point in time when a man has to put away childish things. There does come a point in time. I know I'm going to get to the Cam and Mase responding video. Give me a second, y'all. There does come a time when a man has to make a choice. Does he want to be in a healthy relationship, or does he want to play the field? There does come a time in a man's life where he has to say to himself, am I going to keep leeching off of this woman, or am I going to take the responsibility and take charge of this home? There does come a time in a man's life when a man says to his kids, hey, I have messed up. I've done some things wrong. I did you guys wrong. I apologize, but I want to start the relationship fresh and new from there. There does come a time in a man's life where he has to put away childish things. Anyway, with that being said, y'all, Camron and Mase responded to the allegations, not the allegations, when Diddy's home first got raided back in Miami. Check this out.
What you doing?
Killer, I'm doing good, man. Reparations is getting closer and closer. I'll be sure to give you your percentage.
I ain't had nothing to do with that money. That's all yours, man. I was on the next boat. Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Closer and closer,
Closer
man.
and closer.
Okay.
The big payback.
This has been the last year's really kind of been the big payback for you, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You kind of last week. You went Destiny.
Yeah.
You done Destiny. You know what happened yesterday, right?
Yeah, man. That's what I'm trying to say. It's going crazy.
What happened?
I'm gonna let you start. What did you see that happen?
Oh, yesterday was the anniversary of Biggie Smalls' album, 27 years later. That's what I seen yesterday. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, that was real. It's amazing that all of this would transpire on that day.
What's crazy is yesterday was Biggie Smalls' 27th anniversary of Life After Death. And it was also the Diplomat Immunity album, 21st anniversary. Shit, it's shit going on. Shit's going on around. Yeah, man. I was just saying this. Yesterday was kind of.
That's eerie, man.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. It was just that was crazy. That's kind of crazy, man. I had no idea that, the internet lets you know, because I don't be knowing these dates for my albums or other people's albums, but they will remind you, man. Yeah. That's all you see?
In a lot.
That's what I seen. That's what I was
seeing helicopters off.
I think it was interesting because I've heard some. I put up a short video of this clip. I've got a bunch of different comments under it. Oh well, Mase was Diddy's boy for a while and blah blah boy toy and all this other kind of stuff. I don't know about all that, y'all. But what I do know is that you will know a tree by its fruits. And I have not heard a bunch of crazy things about Mase lately anyway. Actually, I mean, throughout his whole life, he created a big distance between him and Puffy throughout the years. As a matter of fact, except for the last tour, which was probably 8 years ago, maybe not 8 years ago, y'all. I mean, my time frames can be kind of off, but I think that was the last time they may have all been together on tour, and I don't even know. But they never did mend their relationship. So what I'm saying is, when you see grown men like Cam and Mase mending and blending, and now they're building, that's grown men bearing fruit. When a man distances himself from another man because that man is no good, for lack of better words, or his character is bad, we gotta honor that, my brothers and sisters. Listen, there have been times in my life where I have had to distance myself from friends and associates because of their moral compass. That's called being a grown man. That's grown man stuff. There have been times in my life where I have had to put up a border or a boundary because someone was trying to impose their perspective on my life. And that's a no-no. Only grown men can do that. A grown man would never throw anyone under the bus. A grown man should, and let me say this a little bit slower, because I've seen this 1,000 times, and I got one person in my head right now that I'm thinking about, but I'm not going to say his name, just because it's personal. But I have seen a husband throw his wife under the bus and make her look like the bad guy because he didn't want to do something. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about grown men stuff. So when I look at Cam and Mase, I'm not talking about where their lives are personally. I'm talking about the beef that they had, that they were able to admit that they were wrong on both sides, sit down, have a conversation, and move this forward, and now you see them building. That's my desire for all my brothers. That is my heart for all my brothers. My heart and my soul and my strength for all my brothers is that we begin to look, like Michael Jackson said, let me look at the man in the mirror. Let me see what I'm doing. Let me see what I need to do better. Clearly, Diddy didn't do that. We heard him on the radio talking about love and this and love and call me love and yeah. Hey, listen, anyway. I try to always live what I'm saying so that there's no contradiction in my life. I can't say I've always been able to do that, but the older I'm becoming, with God in me, I'm making sure everything I say and do all lines up. Because that's what grown men should do. That's what grown men should do. I think it's time that we hold each other accountable for everything. Anyway, I can go on and on. I'm not gonna. Anyway, y'all get my point. I'm just happy to see Cam and Mase on the same page, rocking out together and building together. And my prayer, my hope is that all of us as brothers, listen, brothers, we can do more coming together than we can separately in their own schisms and fighting. There's enough money on the table. There's enough life on the table for us all to be positive, godly, and all get this together. Thank y'all for checking out Thank y'all for checking me out. I hope y'all can subscribe. Do me a favor. Look onto the channel. I got a lot of different content coming. I'm expanding out every single thing I'm doing. My wife and I have a powerful podcast. It's not just for couples. It's about life in general. Men, women, kids, and other. At the end of this video, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Support a brother. Support is free. All right? I'll be back with another video real soon. Peace.
Got something to say. Hey. You got something to say.